Lawn and Forest Green Rovers. They've just appointed their third manager of the season, the former Shrewsbury boss Steve Cottrell, in at the New Lawn after parting company with Troy Deeney after just 29 days. Chairman Dale Vince joins us now. Dale, thanks for joining us on 72 Plus. How pleased are you to get your man?
Yeah, really pleased actually. Steve is a good guy. I spent a few hours talking to him in the last week, really, just under. He's got a great track record. Great attitude, great approach, and we share the same kind of ambition in football, which is to achieve things.
He's very different to sort of the head coach model that you've gone for before. This is a proper old school football manager. Why the change? Is it the position in the league you're in?
No, not really. We've tried both. We've had managers, we've had head coaches. We built a recruitment team and a team of analysts and all the kind of things that you have when you have a head of football. So we aren't losing those at all. We're just giving more prominence to the opinion of what otherwise would be the head coach, but we're calling him the manager. So it's just a slight rebalancing of that system. So I think of it as a hybrid.
Dale, I came to the club on a number of occasions towards the end of my career, and it is always a very forward-thinking football club. I suppose from the outside, it looks a little bit like the club's just lost its direction slightly. Would that be a fair thing to label against the football club at the moment?
Well, look, I don't think it would be unfair. We haven't lost direction in sense of knowing where we want to be and what we want to do. But it's just not been working. I think if you look at our promotion season, when we won League Two, we were in a very good place. It was a culmination of several years of work and some fair consistency, I would say, in the coaching team, recruitment, that kind of stuff. But that summer, we lost our head coach, our director of football, and three best players. And we were in a pickle. We recruited badly in that summer, and we really haven't recovered from that. I think, if there's one word that might sum up the problems of the last 2 years, has been recruitment. And that's what we're trying to put right now with the appointment of Steve. And hopefully the model, the structures that we built last summer in terms of analysts and recruiting team and that kind of stuff, the director of football side, hopefully that's going to come good now as well.
With still quite a few games left to go, Dale, are you still pretty confident of Steve coming in to keep us up? I know Steve very well. I've seen him. He's been to a lot of the Cheltenham games. He's a Cheltenham legend, but I think a great guy you got there with the experience to get you over the line.
Yeah, I agree. We see it that way. We've got 19 games left, as you point to. And, in other interviews, I've been saying I'm not actually confident that we can do this. I'm more confident today having appointed Steve, but more than confident, because you can't be when you've had two bad seasons like we have, or one and a half. I'm just determined. And as a club that we're determined. And, we put a lot into this process. I think we've got ourselves a great manager. And, I think if anybody can do this, then Steve can.
What lessons can be learnt from the past season? Because you came down from League One, and it's always difficult for a club to sort of arrest that slide and maybe end the hangover. But what lessons have you learnt as a football club owner over the past 6-7 months?
I think the key, as I mentioned earlier, is in recruitment. Good recruitment brings stability and consistency, which is what we had when we won the league. And we lost all of that in a flash, really, in 1 week in the summer 2 years ago. And we didn't get any of it back. And we made a series of appointments that haven't worked out. We're talking coaches, directors of football, and players, actually. And I would say that's the big thing that's been missing for us, good recruitment. And that's the thing we need to get back to.
Dale, I've got to come on to the recent manager who was appointed, or head coach that was appointed and then let go in Troy Deeney. Obviously, it hasn't gone the way that anyone there would have wanted it to. Do you think it was just too early for him, maybe in terms of his managerial or lack of managerial experience? And really, what made you come to that decision after so few games? Because for someone who has taken up that role as a player manager and was given an opportunity at a football club, I certainly wouldn't say 6 games was long enough. Yes, there was some mistakes that he's held his hands up to along the way, but do you think that was a long enough period? Did you see enough in that to sort of feel that was long enough in charge to do what he wanted to do?
Yeah, I understand. Let me start with your first question. Was it too early? Yes, I think it was. But when Troy joined us in the summer, we made a commitment to him that he could have the vacancy when it next came up. Now, we all thought that would be a couple of years away. And so it made sense for Troy to have that couple of years experience with us as a coach, as well as a player, and be ready for when, we next made the change. We expected Dave Horseman to go on to a bigger club in a couple of years' time, quite frankly. But that change came 6 months later. I don't think Troy was ready. But we kept our word and we gave him a shot. Now, yeah, 6 games is not long enough. And I don't think we've ever changed coach after just 6 games. I think we're a famously patient club, quite often patient to our own detriment. But it wasn't just 3 points in 6 games and 3 red cards, one of which came for Troy himself. It was the outburst against our players after the Harrogate game last Saturday. Sorry, the Saturday before, which was brutal. It was incredible, unprecedented, I believe, in football, and that was behaviour from Troy. That was bad behaviour. And then the red card itself last Thursday, the FA ruled on that, gave him a 4-match ban, which meant he couldn't take the next 4 games. And the reason for the ban was abusive and threatening language, and the threat was to punch in the head the 4th official, and that really was the straw, the last straw. When we looked at it in the round, poor performance, abuse of the players in public, and then threatening violence to match day officials. None of that we could accept as a club. So he had to go.
You've pretty much laid it out there for us. And obviously, look, we really appreciate your honesty. Moving forward, Steve, what kind of resources will you be allocating for the balance of the window to make changes to give you guys the best possible opportunity of retaining your EFL status?
We're ready and willing to do everything that we can possibly do. We've got about a week left of the window. We've got a couple of key recruitments that we'd like to make. I think if we get somewhere between 2 and 4 players, we'll think we've done the job, the best job that we could do in the circumstances. We've got a good squad, just need to strengthen it in a couple of different places. One of the great things that Steve brings to the club, and is particularly important at this point in time, is recruitment now. He knows a lot of players, a lot of clubs. He knows exactly the kind of player that we need to, get us out of this pickle and to move forward as well. It's not all about the next few months. We've got an eye on future seasons as well. If we do go down, then we'll accept that and work our way back up. But we're going to fight hard to make sure that doesn't happen. And then next season, we start building properly and get some consistency and that kind of thing.
Dale, really appreciate you taking the time out to join us here on 72 Plus, and really appreciate your honesty as well.
Thank you very much.
All the best, Dale. All the best.
Dale.
Thanks, guys.